It's my pleasure to welcome Mike Hewen back onto the Hayley Show. We chatted to him on the phone a few weeks ago, but now he's with us in studio on camera from Complete Cyclist. Thanks for being here, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
So Mike is the ultimate cycling guru and go-to guy when you need any information about cycling or any gear, as he's at the Bryanston branch there of Complete Cyclist. And so now with the 94.7 coming up, there are a lot of people that are starting to get into cycling. And for us Joburg city slickers, it's kind of like, well, where do we go? Because we don't really want to go around our neighborhoods where there's a lot of traffic and a lot of cars. So I said to Mike, can you just come in and tell us kind of, I know it's like the dummies guide, but where do we go? If we want to go off-roading, we've bought our brand new spanking shining mountain bike. Now, where do we take it? And how the hell do we get it there in our little like cabriolet cars? So where do we go off-road and where do we go on-road? And how do we ensure that we make it back alive, basically? So, Mike, you've got some hot spots in Gauteng.
Yeah, it's important to know where to ride. Obviously, you've bought into this sport. It's more than a sport now. It's a lifestyle. So you've got to know where to ride. You can feed off friends, of friends of friends, and know where to ride. So I've highlighted a couple of areas in Gauteng which are good to know. Nice hot spots for cycling. A big buzz at the moment is cycling parks. Oh. So landowners have sort of given their areas to people to run bike parks. They've carved trails. They have printed maps. So
do you pay to go in?
Most of them you pay to go in.
How much are we talking?
You're talking of a nominal fee at most of them. Sort of Higher Safari, the top one on my list here. It's a fairly new place. You're looking at anywhere between 50 and 100 Rand. PwC Bike Park on
in
Main
Bryanston.
Road in Bryanston. Right on most people's doorsteps. That you're looking at 50 Rand.
Okay.
It does range if you have a group of people. I know some people host parties there. You go to events. If you go to an event, obviously that's included. But it's a nice thing to know is where to ride. You know? Okay,
so that's for obviously mountain bikers, hey?
Yeah, mountain biking. I've made a list here, just the top ones off the top of my head as I was thinking this morning. Higher Safari, as I've mentioned, that's in the cradle of mankind.
Okay.
PwC Bike Park in Bryanston. Modderfontein Bike Park. It's recently redone, so they've carved some new trails. Very, very nice place to go. Van Galen's Cheese Farm, a little bit further out towards Harderbeespoort. Fantastic, and you can have a beer or a coffee or something afterwards. Always good.
Cool.
The Spruit. We live in what they call the biggest man-made forest in the world. So Joburg's got over 10 million trees. So what the Spruit is, it's a waterway, it's a river, the Braamfontein Spruit, that carves its way right the way through Joburg.
How long can you go along the Spruit for?
You could put in quite easily a good sort of 40 to 60k ride from bottom to top and back.
Oh, really?
And there's dedicated trails. There are other users there, so there's runners and there's dogs and so on. So you do need to be courteous to anyone else who's using it, as do they need to be courteous to cyclists. So you've got to share the trail. A good thing to think about with all these parks is a bell, not shouting track or get out my way or whatever. Just a little toot to the bell or horn or something, and you can let people know you're coming through.
Cool.
Then the next couple are Northern Farms, just by Deep Sleuth there up the top. Great place to go. We actually host quite a few of our demo events with Specialized there. Avianto, also in the cradle. And then the cradle itself. So as a road destination, it's got a very nice loop, nice and safe, not too many cars, tons of cyclists, especially this time of year going into summer.
Loads of cyclists.
And they've also put a mountain bike trail on the left of the road so that you can now do the loop on a mountain bike, which is fantastic.
All these places exist. You've just got to get your bike there. So you need to make sure your car's kind of, you've got the right gear. So like me trying to take the wheel off and then put it on again, and I start riding and my wheel starts falling off.
A rack is always better. So get a bike rack. Bike racks are very
then it's on and off
nowadays. Yeah.
Oh really? Are they not? They're not that expensive.
You can get a bike rack. A couple of brands that pop to mind. Thule, one of the most known brands. We stock something else called Buzz Rack. Those racks can go down as about 1,000 Rand for a clip-on bike rack. Fits onto any car. You're looking at 1,200 Rand for a bike rack. It fits 3 bikes. So if you find a friend on the trail and doesn't want to ride home, you can give him a lift or her a lift. Okay. So it's always nice to know that.
And these bike parks, do they cater for like all abilities? So they're not.
Yeah,
if you're a beginner or advanced.
Much like a sort of a skiing slope, if you will. They've got color coordinated trails, so you know which are the difficult ones, which are the beginner ones. They've got danger signs, directional signage, so you know where to go.
It all sounds
Most
very
of them are leaning towards what we actually want to do with the Spruit. We're putting together a forum for the Spruit, and right down to printing a map along the way of saying you are here, exit points, and a couple of other things, so people know exactly where they are, where to go, how far to go, because you set out on a 5K ride and 25 Ks later, you're not home. It's a bit of a problem.
So now, will you put those up on the Complete Cyclist Facebook page,
Definitely,
and then people can go to your Facebook page
put a list of things.
And maybe you can also put a link to it on Twitter. So if people heard there about a bike park that's in their area, they can go find out.
Yeah, we'll put it up on our website, on Facebook as well. We're also approachable on all levels. So Twitter, Facebook, website, telephone, email. We get tons of people coming into the store, emailing us, phoning us, new to the area, new to cycling. How else are you going to know if you don't ask? So ask what you will.
Go find Complete Cyclist and ask them questions and make sure they reply.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. We've just got a few minutes left. So I did also ask Mike to give us a few tips, because I mean, like, especially when you've got cleats on for the first time, it can be a little daunting experience going out, also if there are cars in the area. So maybe you can just tell us a few little safety tips. We can expand on this in the weeks leading up to the 94.7, but a few safety tips to keep in mind.
Sure. I'll also put this up on our Facebook page and website so people can go and read into it in more detail. I've just highlighted a couple of really important points. Your bicycle, knowing your bicycle is one thing. So getting that waxed so you can go and wax the trail. Get it set up correctly. With any bike sale, we do set a client up so that they are able to control the bike correctly.
That's very important.
That's comfort, that's injury prevention, that's control. Make sure you have the right kit, a helmet, no ride.
Yeah.
That's something that people have been talking about for years, but really needs to be pushed down into...
Are there still people that don't wear helmets?
You'll be surprised. And
really?
And it's also, older folk that go out and... I don't mean older folk, but people who've been riding for some time.
And they think
try and be a bit of a hero. Yeah, there's no hero there. You're setting a bad example, so you really do need to follow that.
Okay.
Shoes, the cleats question. You don't have to ride with cleats.
I haven't yet.
Don't feel obliged to. There is benefit to it. You get more control. You're connected to the bike in another point, so you're able to control it better.
Really?
I
think you just go faster, and you try and justify that in other ways.
You feel faster, so that's a win anyway.
Okay.
And then the spares. You can go into any bike shop. We'll take guys through it if they come through. Have the spares, but then also know how to use them. Having all the gear and no idea doesn't help. Cell phone and money. Cell phone, in case you get into some trouble.
So you advise taking it with
take
you?
A cell phone, especially if you're by yourself in the bike parks. I wouldn't advise outside the bike parks riding by yourself. That's just not clever.
Yeah.
And money, because we all like coffee. Or whatever you want to drink
Cyclists
after the ride.
seem to really like coffee.
Yeah, it's a problem. People who get in the way of our coffee on the end of a ride. And then just in case of emergency, what they call ICE. People must know where you're going. So if you've gone out by yourself, make sure someone knows where you've gone, how long you're going to be. And in case of emergency number, some people actually save it into their phone. ICE dad or ICE mum or boyfriend, spouse.
I was trying to work out why you were calling it ICE. Okay, in case of emergency.
In case of emergency. So if something happens to you and someone finds you, they can go into your phone and check that. There's many bangles out there for sale nowadays, lanyards that you can buy. So if a paramedic were to come across you lying still on the trail, they can call for help. They can get your details from someone who
I just think
knows
don't ride by yourself. Hey?
It's a good principle to follow.
Maybe people want the solitude and the peace of mind, but I think rather just enjoy getting a group of people out there.
Absolutely. I mean, cycling, as I said, it's more than a sport now. It's a lifestyle. It's the whole. You'll see parts of Joburg. I'm fairly confident that you don't know exist, and they could be 10 minutes from your house, as well as you get to network with new people. It can be sport related. It can also be business. The amount of people I've met through cycling. I was a big golfer before this, so through cycling, the amount of people I've met is uncanny. It's amazing.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, so you now know where to go, and you now know how to do it safely. So now you've got to go.
Yeah, well, that's the trick. You can plan, aim. You've got to shoot at some point. To get out.
Exactly, and I'm talking to myself here too, because
I was looking at you when you said that.
Like we told you a few weeks ago, Lee, the very well-known blogger Lilo, and I have teamed up with the Smile Foundation and are riding the 94.7, and we're trying to raise money to give 20 smiles to kids that need a smile operation. So we've got a big target ahead of us, and we've got a long race ahead of us, so we need to get out on the road. So yeah, now we know where to go and how to do it safely. We'll have Mike back in studio next month to give us some more tips and some more advice leading up to the 94.7.
Yeah, great. I mean, thanks for having me, and just for you guys, well done on your challenge. Big targets, but
big
good
target. Luck. Cool. And we'll be at Complete Cyclist in Bryanston next week, Saturday, if you want to pull in around 10 o'clock. But I'll give you more details on that throughout the week. And of course, you can go to Complete Cyclist Facebook page for any of the details.